My next guest is finally returning to action coming up here at UFC Fight Night on February 20th. He's going to be taking on Jamall Emmers. It is Chaz Skelly back here on the program. Chaz, how's it going, man?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Doing well. What is going on with your Twitter? I got to start with that first because I saw someone had hacked your account and then they blocked all the followers, including myself. What happened? Did you ever get that figured out?
No. I mean, I sent a thing. So basically they hacked my account, and when they did it, they changed the email and the phone number, I guess, associated with the account, so I can't even recover it. I talked to the people with the UFC social media team, and they said that they would try and help me out or whatever, but basically, I don't know. It might just be lost. I don't know.
So you might have would you start a new one, do you think, if the other one's gone?
Probably not. A lot of negativity on Twitter.
I agree. I was going to say that's kind of I know it's an interesting choice for sure. I think if I lost mine, I might do the same thing. So
yeah, I mean, I don't mind having it. I like Twitter for the reason of looking stuff up, especially during fantasy football, stuff like that. Like all the updates, everything gets updated on Twitter. It seems like faster than any place else. So I like to look stuff up on Twitter, but as far as like scrolling down through the feed, it's always so negative, and it's always just like an argument here, an argument there. If you post something, there's always somebody who posts something negative on it. Like people are so out of touch with reality when it comes to social media. People forget they don't even interact on social media like they would interact in real life.
Exactly.
It's so weird, and then you see people. Sometimes it feels like you see people in real life forgetting they're not on social media, like interacting in ways to get them punched or slapped, and then they're surprised about why. Like, yeah, I mean, you're completely disrespectful to somebody. That's what's going to happen,
Yeah. No, I agree. And I think the key with Twitter, at least from my end now, is I post my content and I walk away. That's it. I don't put any opinions on there. It's just a big waste of time because you can't win an argument on Twitter because no matter what, people are going to dissect it and overanalyze it. And it's just, it's a huge waste of time. I had someone write something stupid to me this morning and I'm like, I'll just leave it. I'm not going to give them any energy. I'll just leave it. So anyways, but good to see you back. Of course, the last time you fought, I was at your fight. That was UFC Vancouver. If you remember, we had we went, hung out and finally had our beer. Of course, it's been a couple of years in the making. Long story on that. We won't get into it today, but I know you're supposed to fight Grant Dawson last year. I know you had an upper body injury. I remember we talked about that before. Are you able to disclose that, or is it still top secret as far as the injury?
No. I didn't really care for it to be top secret before. I just was like, I didn't know, coming up, I was like, I don't know if I should talk about it. I don't know how bad it really is, but it actually ended up being pretty bad. I had shoulder surgery, my pectoralis major tore from my bone, and so they had to go in and drill holes through the bone and cinch that back down, I guess. So it's perfectly fine now, though. Actually, to be honest with you, my shoulders were a little tight, and it feels better now than it did before because I've had to do all the rehab and all the, range of motion stuff. And so my shoulders are actually a lot more loose now than they were, when I got injured. So it feels pretty good. Not going to lie. I think sometimes having to step back and go through rehab and go through that process is not, I mean, it sucks to be hurt. It sucks to be sitting out and not getting paid, but you can make the best of it.
When were you able to get back to training?
So I have been, let's see, I've been back training about 3 months. But I kind of did it in a smart way this time, as opposed to waiting until I was cleared to get back to training. And I started eating healthier and, doing what I could do, as far as conditioning outside of the camp. And then I kind of sent a message to Sean. I was like, hey, I'll be cleared on this date. Let's go ahead and I'd like a full camp, but I'd like to get a fight lined up. And so he did it. He gave me 12, 13 weeks to prepare. And I feel great.
Yeah, and it's a good fight, actually. What's interesting with Emmers is you guys have almost the same amount of experience in terms of overall fights. I know you fought more in the UFC than he has, but how do you feel like you match up against him here?
Pretty good. I actually know Jamall from a long time ago. He came down and trained at Team Takedown.
Oh, did he? Interesting. Okay. For
a little bit. Yeah, I mean, not like a lot. He just came down a couple times and a couple weeks, I think. But he's a really nice guy. I really like the guy personally. I think he's a great dude. I think he works hard, and I know he's got good conditioning stuff. As far as matching up, and when we trained back then, that was so long ago, I don't even remember what happened. So I couldn't even. I mean, who cares, really? Yeah. But as far as matching up, when I watch his film, athletically, he's a pretty athletic guy. It looks like he's really been working on his cardio and his output a lot. Like his last fight, he had pretty high output. I like that because I'm kind of like a pace matcher, if that makes sense. Like if somebody goes out there and they just kind of lull you to sleep, I'll play that game with them, and then I'll look for my spots. But I actually like it when somebody has a really high pace. I like those style of fights. I like those kind of fights. It kind of just plays into my style a little better. Mm-hmm. So the matchup I like. I think I think he's going to want to keep it standing. I know that he does have a background in wrestling, and he does have a good ground game. He has a good wrestling game. He has a good ground game. But I think that for this fight, he's going to find it in his best interest to try and keep it standing. So, I think it'll be a war of attrition. I got to push the pace on him. I got to stay in his face, and he's got to keep me from taking him down.
Training camp, how's that going? You're at Sanford MMA, right? That's where you're training right now?
Yeah. Sanford. I've been out here for 3-4 years, and it's going great. Team's great. Everything's good. Everything's good on that front. It's always good training camp here. It's hard to get rounds off.
Yeah. Who are you getting to work with mainly? Any main training partners over there?
Well, Jared Gordon's fighting on the same card, so I work a lot with him. So around my weight, I work with everybody.
Borax as well, right? He's still there, Adam Borax?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Adam. Adam just came back. Adam has been in Hungary for the last month or so. He just came back last week, so that'll be the last 3 weeks of the camp. It'll be awesome to go with Adam because stylistically standing, they could be pretty comparable. Adam's better, a better kicker, and I think Adam has a little bit. Adam's takedown defense has gotten good, and he's super strong. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I think that comparably, that Adam is a really good person for me to train with for Jamall. I've gotten to go with Jared Gordon a lot. Nick Lentz is somebody who obviously Nick just retired, and shout out to Nick.
Great career. No one looks at that resume of who he's fought. I mean, he had to follow Oliveira 3 times. Right? It's crazy. And
the thing with Nick, he as a training partner, he's one of the best partners I've ever gotten to go with, or if not the best. Just because the way that he puts everything together, he's a very good mixed martial artist. He's, his striking is good, his wrestling is good, his jiu-jitsu is good, and the way that he puts it all together is like great, So it's
and he nearly had a win on the weekend. That guillotine choke. I mean, I don't know how that guy got out of it. It was crazy.
I know. That's all. I've told people like he has the best arm in guillotine I've ever felt. It's like crushes your face and your trachea. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. It hurts. So yeah, let's see. Jared, Nick, Adam, Teal Tang. Teal's a ONE FC guy that is an up and comer that love Teal to death. He's gonna be really good. He's got a bright future in front of him. Marquez, 55er. Gosh, we've got so many others I can't even.
Yeah, it's a huge list.
Stable of guys here.
Yeah, no, it sounds good. Kind of on that note, who's going to be in your corner for this fight?
I think we're going to have Cammy and I'm going to have Cammy and Henry, nice. And then my buddy Douglas Fry.
Of course, yeah, of course, married to Jin and also train. Yeah, has his camp over there too as well.
Yep, Doug's been cornering me for a long time. Doug and I used to train together a long time ago, and back in the day, it would be like Doug, Johnny Bedford, and a guy, Daniel Trevino, my friends, and then sometimes a couple, other people would mix in there. But so Doug, a few years back, I asked him to start coming back and cornering me because he's really good with nutrition as well. So he'll help me with my nutrition throughout the camp, and then fight week, it's awesome having him around because, he's always a positive guy, which, it's always good to have somebody who's super positive. and that you enjoy being around. But he's great with nutrition. He'll cook everything fight week and get everything prepared as far as the weight cut and then the rehydration and stuff. So I always love having Doug around, and even if he wasn't cooking for me, I like having him around, having him out there. He's very, very knowledgeable. He's been around the sport for a really long time.
How do you see the fight playing out on February 20th?
I just kind of see it being a war of attrition. That's what I want. Mm-hmm. I want this to be a 3-round war of attrition. I want this to be one of those fights where you come out and it's a high-paced fight where there's a lot of grappling, a lot of striking, and we're both dead tired going into the third, and just to come out in the third and see who's got more in them, because that I like that. That's what I want. That's what I train for. I kill myself every single day looking for something like that. And I've been doing a lot more lately to not just hold as much. Like when I am on the ground, I want to land more strikes and open some things up, not just hold as much and grab the back and look for chokes. A submission would be great. I think I'm one away from the most submissions in featherweight history. I don't know if I'm still one away. I used to be. So a submission would be great. I always like to end fights early, but war of attrition, that's what I think. I think he's going to be a hard person to finish. I think this is going to probably go to decision. I think it's going to be a good fight. Before
we get out of here, got to talk some baseball. There's been a lot of moves in the offseason. I don't know if you saw the Blue Jays got George Springer. What are your thoughts on the Rangers, what they're doing? What are you thinking so far in the offseason?
To be honest, so it's kind of funny because for my fantasy baseball league, one of my close friends just texted me and said, "Is it too early to start?" We got a keeper league.
Awesome, nice.
Yeah, and I traded him at the end of last season for Jordan because he was hurt all season and he needed some pitchers to go into the playoffs, and I needed a keeper. So I've got Yelich and Jordan as my keepers right now. And to be honest, I haven't really been keeping up as much, like in the off season with the moves. So I don't know what moves have been made. But what I will say is, if the Rangers don't make some serious moves as far as pitching, I mean, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
I mean, ever since that we've gotten rid of Nolan Ryan, as far as in the office, it's like we don't even focus on our pitching at the minor league level, at this level. We don't do anything to improve our pitching. We're not going after anybody in the off season. We're not making any big. I mean, we're just always going to be. We're going to be terrible if we don't improve our bullpen, and we will not do it. And I don't know why. It's frustrating. But who was it? Did Morton go somewhere?
I haven't been I actually, just as we logged on here, I haven't actually checked recently, so I'm not entirely sure. But I just remember last week seeing some of the moves that were made. There was a few ones. I think the Astros re-signed someone for who it was. And yeah, there's just a few other moves that they did. So
yeah, I don't know. But I stand strong. The Astros are a bunch of cheaters.
Yeah.
Hope they don't win it again. Fucking out there picking off. It's easy to hit pitches that you know what's coming.
Yeah, I mean, it was so crazy. Yeah. And the commissioner just totally dropping the ball in that whole thing. It was nuts.
Yeah, I hope the pitchers continue to peg those guys this year. I hope we see an uptick in Houston Astros players getting dinged.
And hopefully you don't get too dinged coming up here on February 20th as UFC Fight Night.
I'm about to have the whole Houston Astros roster watching my fight, trying to. It's like hoping I get knocked out.
Chaz, always appreciate the time, man. We went way over time. Just remind people where they can get a hold of you on social media, except for Twitter, obviously. And if you got any shout outs or thank yous, the floor is yours, man.
Hey, MMA, Twitter, MMA. Everybody go on there and file a complaint on my thing. Say it's been hacked. I mean, yeah, Twitter has to. Yep. Thank you. I appreciate that. Twitter has to realize after a certain amount of time, they told me they couldn't give me my account back because my email doesn't match. So at Chaz Skelly on Twitter, go over there and say it's been hacked. Please report that account. Hopefully I get it back soon. I'll be back on there talking about the fights. And then at Chaz Skelly on Instagram, you can look me up on Instagram. I try and post some funny stories. I mostly just post funny stuff on my Instagram, but you guys can also go to Sanford MMA's Instagram. And if you want to know anything about the team, the guys, the guys are really good about updating our Instagram with our sponsors and with all of our workouts throughout the week, so you guys can see everything that's going on with the team. So, yeah, that's it.